Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's Edwin, the comic jabroni, coming at you. Today, I have a special video for you guys. As you know, I am a comic book nerd, as people like to say. I absolutely love comics. I love collecting comics. But as a child of the 80s growing up playing the Nintendo, absolutely loved it. I loved all the games that my parents bought for us. My sister and I would be playing these games, absolutely loving it. A lot of times my dad would join in and we'd all be playing the games. And I wanted to bring to you a video today just kind of talking about the 5 games in my collection that I have right now that really meant the most to me and are most memorable to me as a kid. Now, these aren't my top 5 Nintendo games of all time. All right, I have other games that I absolutely love to play now more than these. But these were the games growing up that I just had the most fun and I remember fondly. And just wanted to kind of bring this to you. And let's start off with the first game. Now, these aren't really in any particular order. So we're going to start off number 1. All right, first game up, man, Star Tropics. Now, this is a very underappreciated game. A lot of people really haven't heard of it. If you're not really into collecting retro video games or the Nintendo, this might be a game that you haven't heard of, but it is a game that is amazing to play. It has RPG elements, it has some action in there, really reminds me of a Zelda type of game. It has a top-down view. You play as this kid who has lost his uncle. He's on this island to go visit his uncle, but his uncle has been abducted. Now you get this weapon, which is a yo-yo, and you get sent off to go find your uncle. Now, through this adventure, man, you're on different islands with these different bosses that are all like an octopus. You have this a fire boss. You've got this huge snake, which is like the first boss that you face. It's a little bit different. It's not like a Mario type, and even I say it's a Zelda type of game, but it's different than that as well. The top-down view, you can only move. You can't move diagonally. When you jump, you really only jump over things, and you can jump up in the air, up and down, and that's it. Just the action in here. This, for me, why it's most memorable though, is because my dad and I, man, we would play this game all the time, just trying to beat it, and it was a game that we never really got to beat. I remember when this game came out, there was a booklet inside, and I'm going to show you that booklet. The booklet, right, which was the instruction manual, came with this letter. And this letter, just tells you, hey, Mike, this is from his uncle, just kind of telling you what's going on. But this letter had to do with the game. You get up to a certain point in the game, and it tells you that you can't continue on without a certain code. And you find out that the code is in this letter, and what you had to do was put water on the letter, and then the code would show up at the bottom. So this is something that's very hard to come by. It's hard to find, and it's hard to find in this condition, man. This game, this box, I was lucky enough to find this a long time ago, and it's in pristine condition, like it's never ever been opened before. But Star Tropics, man, is definitely one of the games that I remember most fondly, and it sucks that my dad and I could never beat it. We get to the end where you're fighting aliens, and you get some awesome weapons that shoot lasers out, and we just never beat it. But it is a game that I love, and I will continue to love, and I hope one day Nintendo brings it out again and does an updated version of it. So that's number 1. Let's get into number 2. All right, number 2, man, needs no introduction, guys. Contra. I remember playing this game as a kid, absolutely loving it, getting killed all the time. This is a very difficult game. I don't think today's generation of kids would I don't know if they'd enjoy playing this game as much as we did as kids back in the 80s. A lot of these Nintendo games, the difficulty level was ridiculously high. It's like Nintendo did not care how hard the games were that they were putting out. They kind of knew this is all you got, this is what you're gonna play. Now the Nintendo Entertainment System has over 800 games in its library. and they're almost all super difficult to beat. But the thing about Contra is it has the Konami code, right? So up, what is it? Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. Now you had to find out from your friends the Konami code because there wasn't the internet, that you could just go on and go look it up. As a kid, you had to go, to school, and hopefully somebody else had it, or they picked it up in one of those strategy guides that you could go buy, or in the the Nintendo magazine that they would get shipped to their house. I wasn't lucky enough to get that, so I'd have to get it from a friend. I remember playing the heck out of Contra as a kid, and even today I will pop this into the system and play it. I go over to my buddy 8-Bit Eric's house and we play it over there. Once you put the Konami code in, it becomes a little bit easier, but you start running through those lives fairly quickly, man. Contra, this is an awesome, in that beginning intro. Let me play it. And then of course those two guys, the two guys on the front, look like Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Of course. And then you have the that alien there that looks like the Aliens, right? That movie. So dude, Contra, absolute awesome game that I remember fondly from my childhood, guys. So that's number 2. Let's get into number 3. All right, so number 3, guys, Kirby's Adventure. You might be thinking, Kirby's Adventure? Really, Edwin? Man, let me tell you something. This is such an awesome platforming adventure game, man. Kirby, I want to say that this was the first game that Kirby was ever in, and it was a game that we played at my house all the time. And I remember going, back in the day when I lived in Virginia, I used to go over to my buddy Ryan's house, and we would play the heck out of this game. And it's not one of those games where I said the difficulty level was high. This is fairly easy game to play. If you don't know about Kirby, Kirby's this little pink, I don't know, squishy thing, and he can inhale his enemies. And then once he's inhaled them, he takes their powers. And I used to love going around, and I would find the power of the cutter, right? So he would throw he could throw these blades out. So once you got that power, you would start throwing those blades out. Man, Kirby can inhale himself and get really big and fly up in the air, and that would help you out through the levels. And then once you get to the end, you fight King Dedede. I think his name is Dedede or Dedede. And you think, heck yeah, I beat King Dedede, and it's over. And then no, boom, there's a boss above King Dedede, and it's like, what? Another boss who's harder? It felt like King Dedede was kind of easy, and it makes sense because he's the nobody. He kind of crying, telling you that it was another person. It was someone else that was making him bad. So now you as Kirby have to go and defeat that boss, man. Absolutely love Kirby's Adventure growing up. Now, I don't believe that this is the cart that I had as a kid. It might be, but I just remember finding the box for it shortly after I started really collecting retro video games, and I had to put them together, man. It looks absolutely amazing together, guys. Kirby's Adventure, it is a great Nintendo game. I'm not gonna say it's underappreciated because they've made like 20 other Kirby games after this, but man, Kirby's Adventure is awesome, guys. So that's number 3. Let's get into number 4. So, what would a top 5 childhood memory fondness list of Nintendo games be without at least one Super Mario game? Super Mario Brothers number 3. I could have gone with number 1. I could have gone with the crazy number 2 that some people really love and some people kind of like, what the heck am I playing? But guys, for me, Super Mario Brothers 3 was my jam, and it was my sister's jam. We would play this all the time. I remember my parents bought me a strategy guide because I don't know if you remember in this, when you'd be playing around, sometimes you'd get the special square where you would have to play the flip card game. Well, I remember in that strategy guide, we would go in there and it had every single flip card game because there was like 9 or 10. And we would go in and we would start just flip. We knew exactly what the cards were. So we'd flip them and get all of the special, like I think you'd get 1-ups and get the leaf, right? That would turn you into that raccoon, or you would get the fire flower for the firepower. Man, dude, Super Mario Brothers 3 was my jam. And when this came out, right, that movie, The Wizard, had come out. So that movie came out and then they dropped Super Mario Brothers 3 on us. It's like, what? And then the flutes where you could fly around, man, and get to extra levels. I think I've only ever beaten this game probably once, but that's enough for me. I feel accomplished, especially with the way difficulty was with NES games, it's insane. I absolutely love Super Mario Brothers 3. Which one of the three on the NES is y'all's favorite? For me, it's got to be Mario Brothers number 3. So that's the 4th game. Let's get into my last one, number 5. All right, the last game, guys. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the first game that came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System as far as Turtles goes. And as you can tell, I remember it fondly because this is the cart from my childhood. I wrote, like every other kid, I wrote my name on it because if you ever let somebody borrow it, you wanted your name on it so they couldn't say, man, that was my game. No, I wrote my name on it, dang it. I know, like, buying so many games now at retro video game stores and the names are written on them, so I wasn't the only kid that did it. Now, this game, I remember it fondly, but I absolutely hate it, right? It pissed me off so much to play this game because I could barely get past that second level where you're in the lake having to swim around and defuse all the stupid bombs. I've never beaten this game, and I've never gotten past the third level where you're in the turtle van having to destroy the different barriers and try to get past that. Man, 9 times out of 10, I don't get past the lake level. I kill all my turtles off trying to get through the lake, and then I get destroyed in those stupid seaweeds that electrify you. God, it just absolutely made me insane, man. But there are better Turtles games on the NES, right? Obviously, number 2 is the arcade game. That's my favorite Turtles game. But this one I remember fondly because it was the first one. My parents bought this for me. I have my name still on the cart. I remember playing it over and over and over and over and never getting anywhere. Like I said, I can't beat that stupid lake level. And not too long ago, I'd say about a year, I went over to my buddy Eric's house and he laughed at me because, like, you can't get past the lake. He gets past the lake like this. But then we get to another part where we're in the sewers and he can't get past that. So neither one of us have ever been able to beat it. But guys, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And what I love is that this cover for the box art is the same cover for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4 in the comic book series that came out in 1984, 1985. So absolutely love that, guys. Ninja Turtles, the first one. I remember it fondly because I played it a lot and it was my first Turtles games on the Nintendo, but it's definitely not my favorite Turtles game on the Nintendo Entertainment System. So guys, that is my top 5 NES games that I remember the most fondly. Not saying that it's my favorites, but I remember playing them all the time as a kid with my family and my friends. I just absolutely love it. So thanks for watching, guys. If this is your first time watching my channel, because this is my first video game related video, I am Edwin the Comic Jabroni, dropping videos 2 to 3 times a week, going live on YouTube as well, talking about comic books, guys. So if comic books are your thing, think about hitting that subscribe button and that bell notification so you know exactly when I'm dropping videos or I'm going live on YouTube. So until next time, guys, I've been Edwin the Comic Jabroni. Peace.